And
Long drive, but a drive.
but we could check out Boston, see if it seemed right, and then we would just go to Boston if it seemed right, and it seemed right. And so we came here instead of moving to San Francisco.
So when you went to Boston, were you prepared to stay, or did you come to check it out and then go home
We
and
came
then
to
move?
check it out. We scouted out Boston in like Labor Day weekend of whatever that was, 81. And we went to some of the local clubs, and we were trying to decide between Boston or San Francisco. So we scouted out the local clubs in Boston first, figuring it was a drive back to Findlay, where Chris and I, that's where our family was from. And Jody's family was from Alliance, Ohio. Sorry for the hiccuping. So rather than having to fly back home every time we wanted to come to see family, we figured we'd scout out Boston first. And we went to the Tam O'Shanter, went to some of the local clubs at the time, and it just seemed like, yeah, we could fit in with these guys. Even though we were probably much more mellow than a lot of the bands that we were looking at. And it's funny, at the time, people often compared us, even after Bryce joined the band, people often compared us to the Grateful Dead, which if we had gone to San Francisco, we would have been accepted immediately. But here we were like this mellow, kind of almost country-ish band compared to
What was going on at the time?
It was very new wavy.
very
yeah.
noisy, very noisy.
And you guys were like, no.
It was different.
It was
different.
a
It's
lot.
very grungy. You guys were sharp. You were like on
We
point.
were 10 years
Tight.
early or 10 years late.
Yeah.
We would have fit in with the grunge bands of the
10 years,
90s.
I think early actually.
Yeah, I think we
What year
were
was
generally ahead of our time. The band
82 to 85.
that I hear now is Wilco.
Right.
Oh.
Like
Yes.
we would have like Wilco was playing at the same time that we were, and they were just kind of slogging along, kind of bumping along the road at the sort of lower ends of national success.
Yeah, a little bit later. But yeah.
And but we would have fit in perfectly as the warm-up band for Wilco and vice versa.
I love those guys.
Yeah, in retrospect, they're really good.
Yeah.
In retrospect, we were really good.
Yeah, there's a lot up there. Yeah.
But I always had this sort of humility, and we're not good enough. I'm not good enough. The band isn't good enough. Just that was sort of where I lived.
Well, we were good enough to make it to the Rock and Roll Rumble and play a really good set for the last set on Friday night at the end of the first round.
And be blown out of the water by a punk band.
Yeah.
They were good.
Yeah, they're good.
Gang Green.
They won it that year. But it's kind of like perception is reality, because it's like 11 o'clock or midnight at Metro, Friday night at the end of the week, the first week of the Rumble, right? And everyone there, the place is packed. There's like 1,000 people in there, and I'm like, this is cool. But everyone there is just like, this band is good because they're here, and they, right from the top they like this. Because they were prepared to, you know what I mean?
I'm glad that's your perception. My recollection was they didn't like us. Nobody liked us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I even read after Gangrene won, I read an article in one of the papers